Hi folks, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming on to share with you this junk journal I've made as my part of being guest design team member for end of October for Kelly's Crafts by Kelly. And I've chosen her kit, the Potions Grimoire or the Witch Grimoire, to make this journal. Now, I've also used a few pages from her vintage science journal kit in it. Now, um, Kelly has a Facebook page called Journaling with junk and digikits. She also has an Etsy shop, and there's a 25% off sale of all her kits and all the items in her Etsy shop at the moment. So if you're interested in doing any kind of a nature, gothic, steampunk, grunge, shabby chic journal, this is the time to buy one of Kelly's kits, because this is the time she specializes in. Or this is the type of kit that she specializes in. So, excuse me, I haven't made a video for ages and I'm a bit rough and ready. But this particular kit, I've decided to make it as a ring bound because I haven't done any ring bound journals for years. And when I was making it, I was kind of inventing the story of a Victorian lady who would have used this as her journal. So I'll tell you about her as I go through the kit, or not the kit, the journal, sorry. Now for the cover, I've made a frame from all bits and scraps of lace and fabric I'd line around the house, and I've also used one of my coloured lace appliques. I've done a video on how I colour lace appliques, and you can see there's a bit of a dried and pressed shrub here on the cover. And I've also used some Tim Holtz Eclectic Elements fabric here and there during the journal. And I've used a lot of lace and scraps of lace throughout the journal. So we go on to the first page anyway. And I've called this Lifting the Veil, because this is the lady whom I'm imagined would have used this journal in the past. She's a Victorian lady called Martha Janet Stanhope, and she lived in Victorian times, and she was the wife of a clergyman called Aloysius Stanhope. Now, she was a very kind, caring lady, but as she visited her parishioners, as a clergyman's wife was supposed to do, you know, when they were sick or when they weren't feeling too good, she heard an awful lot about the old remedies and the old potions and lotions people had used in the past, and the way they used things like the change of the seasons to sow their crops, and the way they looked at nature, and the way they dealt with their lives in a time when you didn't have ready access to doctors or pharmacies or chemist shops. And she learned a lot from them, but she knew her husband wouldn't approve of this kind of natural magic or alternative folk remedy stuff. So she wrote it down and she hid it. She made this kind of a hidden grimoire for herself, and she hid all the folk knowledge and stories that she heard from these parishioners in this. So I'll go through it. This is a lovely pocket from Kelly's kit, and I've made one of these specimen cards, and I've dried some flowers that Martha would have used or tried to use and put it in it. And then to keep the journal hidden, you can see here I've hidden her face with lace, and this is a butterfly cut out of the Tim Holtz Eclectic Elements to give the kind of grungy, it's Eclectic Elements fabric, and it's to give the grungy vintage look to the whole journal. And there's a lot of grey used in this. And you can see the page, the graph page from the journal, and another specimen card here. And when you open it up, it turns almost into a mini journal. Now these are lovely Victorian images of plants that I've taken from a napkin and glued on. And this is a little journaling card from the kit. And I've also used some chemist bags or pharmacy bags from modern times, just to reuse and recycle some bits and pieces. More dried plants here on a bit of greaseproof paper to keep it a crackle. There's lots of writing space in this journal for where you could write down your own recipes and ideas and things you come across. And then I've done the middle section of the journal. I can't say it has signatures, but the middle section is like a concertina album. And here's another one, the journaling cards, and I've turned it into a flip up. And there's another flip under. Because that way you could imagine that Martha could write down all the herbal cures and folk remedies without her husband coming across them and seeing them. Another specimen card, and more little specimen cards here. And there's a great selection of these little labels in this particular kit, also tickets. And I put some gathered fabric on the edges. This is so that the Reverend might think this is a book where Martha keeps her curtain samples. And as we know ourselves, very few men want to be bothered about choosing curtains or cushion fabric or anything like that. And I've stored some seeds in here, which then, you know, you can imagine that Martha got these from her parishioners and she's keeping them for next spring when she sew them. Lovely image of old-fashioned shells with tins and interesting containers in them. Another Victorian flower from the napkin. And here's a hidden page underneath, you know, a sheet of fabric where you can write things you don't want people to see. More little seeds that Martha might have got from her parishioners. And I've hidden this in a library card. Put some fabric along the page, and this kind of strengthens and stiffens the edge of the pages as well. More lace, and this hides some information on tree magic that Martha found. Definitely not the stuff that a regular clergyman should be reading about in the 1860s. Here we go, another specimen. I've altered an envelope to hold some more dried flowers and various things that you could make tinctures and potions from in olden times. A bit of lace with the dried flowers on it. And here's a big ticket. There's some of these massive big tickets in the kit, and I've made a kind of a tuck spot out of them. Put more specimen cards, more dried flowers. That's rosemary. Those two are rosemary, I think. Arnica, I think you use that for bruises. I'm not 100% sure because I'm not Martha. I'm not really well up in all this stuff. And here's a little booklet from the kit with, you know, where you can write down the potion, the ingredients and how to use it. And we'll leave that later. And I've several of these little potions booklets and journaling cards hidden throughout the kit. And this is a piece of wrapping paper with a good bit of, you know, crinkly texture on it that I use as well. You can see I've done various belly bands and things. Here's another thing, the old wheel of the year when you had Samhain, which is Halloween, and in bulk, I think that's the 1st of February. All these old times, the way farmers long ago used to measure the years. And that's something that definitely the Reverend wouldn't approve of, using these old-fashioned paganism and pagan names for things. He wouldn't approve of that. Another little booklet made with images from Kelly's kit. That'll be Martha's dream. Lots of bottles with ointment and medicine and general stuff in them. And some information on essential oils. And here's another little tag book I made with the images from the kit. Some fabulous mushroom images in this kit. Another little specimen card. And here's your pestle and mortar. I think this comes from the Vintage Science Journal kit. Another one of the big tags. And here's where she can write down all the information about her herbs and plants. Plenty of space for writing and keeping a sort of a gardening journal too, if you wanted it. A microscope, which were starting to become popular back in the mid-Victorian era. And here's some seed pods tucked away, more envelopes from the local chemist with little journaling cards in them. More. And here's another, it keeps going on and on. There's more little hidden tuck spots and information about slightly dodgy stuff. Well, it'd be dodgy to the Reverend Archibald anyway, or Aloysius or whatever I'm calling him. Anyway, you can see another little booklet made coffee stained. And more little tuck spots and fabulous mushroom image. This page is hard, so you can write on it. And I've used some lovely lace here that I got from one of Vivian Garbutt's lace sales. She does lace sales over on Facebook in the Boutique Pretty, if you're interested. And here's an envelope. It's a long, narrow envelope that you put bookmarks in that I altered, and there's lavender in it. This image isn't from one of Kelly's kits, but it was sitting on my desk for so long, I decided I would use it somehow in a journal. She deserves an outing. Here's another little booklet, and this is unsafe essential oils, ones that, you know, use with care. Candle magic, candle colours. Lots of information on alternative lifestyle, which is what Martha became interested in as she talked more and more to her parishioners. See here another little booklet made from the flowers in the kit. And we're coming near the end now, and there's a beautiful image here of a still for making, well, you could make moonshine in it, or you could make medicine, you know, tinctures and spirits of this and spirits of that. This would be Martha's dream, and she hopes that she can persuade one of the gardeners to make a setup like this for her where she could experiment. Another pocket with lace and little specimen card there as well. Another little booklet here with information on it. And we end this junk journal with a photo of Martha's daughter. Martha had a daughter called Clara. This is Clara. And Clara was one of these Victorian women who insisted on going to college when colleges and universities opened up to women. And she studied science, and she was also interested in philosophy and all the new ideas that were coming out. And she discussed these things with her mother, and she encouraged her mother to write down and keep a journal of all the information she got from the old people in the parish and their old ways of curing disease and sicknesses and all that. So that's where I got the inspiration for designing this journal. And the grommets here and the eyelets I used, they're, wait a minute. They're from Aldi. They're bigger than the normal craft ones. These are men's eyelets and men's grommets. Good hefty yolks for keeping a journal together. So thanks for listening to my ramblings, and please go over and check out Kelly's shop. I'll put all the links to Kelly's Etsy shop and her Facebook Journaling with Junk and DigiKits page. And you can go over there and get some information. As I said, there's a 25% off sale at the moment. And if anybody, I don't know, will you, but if anybody is interested in buying this journal from me, I'll donate all the proceeds, not just the profits, all the proceeds to the animal charity that I make stuff and do a bit of work for. So please just leave a message or contact me if you would be interested in buying it. I can post it flat, which should make it easier, you know, open it up and post it sort of flat. So it would be easier to post. I'm not selling through Etsy anymore. Everything I sell, the money from it will go to charity. I'm not interested. I have enough fat on my own butt to keep me going for about 6 months. So I'm not really interested in making a profit on anything, just in donating to that animal charity I support. So thanks for listening to my ramblings. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. Halloween is coming up, so enjoy yourselves and have a good time. Bye.